You know what I just love about voice actors? Somehow they always find a way to make the argument to replace them with AI as soon as possible, taking what once was a highly respected and one of the most adored professions, something that so many people grew up desperately wanting to become, is now nothing more than a vapid soapbox for you to be made fun of. Voice actors have gone from being one of the most adored professions that people are just so obsessed with to just a den of entitlements and shame and leftist politics, as that one gamer woman, also known as Madam Savvy, has been on her constant crusade against localizers and whatnot. We have one voice actor who already was in some hot water for some dumb things he said a few years ago, claiming that voice acting should be authentic to the race, so long as I still get every role under the sun. As voice actor SungWon Cho had run his mouth a few years back, claiming that only Asians should play Asians, and only whites should play whites, and only blacks should play blacks, saying that we need segregated casting entirely when it comes to voice roles. In reality, he was just doing that because he was tired of the fact that Asia kind of likes us whitey better. So he goes on his little tirade about how casting should be as race authentic as possible, even though that's not a real thing that anybody should be worried about, because it's acting. Anybody can play anybody so long as they can do so believably. It's acting. That's the job. You don't need to look like your character when you're voice acting. But after years of being made fun of and being called the reason for the death of voice acting, the sole reason why the quality of voice actors, the variety of voice actors, the number of people getting into the profession has shrunk so much, as voice acting has now become a very insular group of nothing but nepo babies who did not deserve their position. I mean, if I had to listen to Zach Aguilar one more time, it might be Kurt Cobain time. But of course, when it comes to race-specific casting, if you're not white, it's nothing but slim pickings for you, it would seem, and that is an issue that SungWon Cho has discovered himself, as he has recently announced a new role that he's partaking in where he's playing a fat white guy. So while he got the right body type, he got the wrong race casting. He's almost authentic, just not to the race side, but yes, to the body type, because both the character and the actor are bigger than me. And where did this leave SungWon? The target of internet mockery, as everyone has come out of the woodworks to point out, hey, weren't you the guy who said you had to be authentically cast? Because when you come out and you run your mouth about something so stupid like that, of course you're going to get backlash. And this isn't the first time he's gotten backlash for this, mind you. A few years ago, he ran out there and was like, why am I only getting Asian characters? Hey, you gave me a bunch of characters from one series. Can I read for any of the other characters? And like, no, there's only one Asian in the show, so you can only read for the one role. This guy made such a stink, forced change in the industry, and has been paying for it ever since. And it all just came out beautiful, neatly, amazing, immaculately in this most recent culmination, where he decided to run his mouth once more, and the internet answered. When he announced this casting as Orville or whatever, people came out and they answered his cry. They responded to his demands for authenticity by asking the one simple question: why aren't you following your own standard? Now, for those of you who don't know, this is what the actor looks like. This is SungWon. He is definitely I could draw him. All I'm going to say is I could draw him and I'd get banned from Twitter if I did. And this down here is the character he's playing. Those eyes certainly aren't slits, and that is definitely a Caucasian phenotype. And while yes, it's equally rotund, it is not the right race, which means he has come out to become the hypocrite we all knew he would be. And the responses have just been as glorious as you could expect them to be. Shows up, pushes DEI agenda and voice acting, fucks over a bunch of voice actors and costs them their jobs, refuses to elaborate, leaves. Because yes, remember, this guy's pushing costs a lot of people a lot of work, such as forcing changes in Family Guy and The Simpsons casting to become more authentic. Such as the guy who played Apu in The Simpsons having to be recast because the person who played him for 20 years happened to be a white guy. So they had to get rid of him and bring in an Indian who did a significantly inferior job. Be a voice actor. Cry about how voice actors should be the same race as their role. Ruin job opportunities for many voice actors, mostly white VAs. Be a hypocrite anyways and voice act white characters. People hate you for it. Leave without taking some type of responsibility. And let's be very clear, his activism hurt him too. He did lose roles because of his activism, for saying this, that casting should be authentic, because he admitted in the past that he wasn't getting white roles that he would have been better suited for. He was getting Asian roles because he's an Asian, and it didn't work out very well for him in the end. But, you know, he could have avoided all this controversy if he came out and said, yeah, I realized I was dumb. I realized I was making a mistake. I realize now that my demands for authentic acting was misguided, misfounded, and was harming more than it would help. If he came out and he had his come to Jesus moment, he just was a little honest for a few seconds, he could have fixed and solved and saved himself a lot of face. He could have protected his career. He wouldn't be getting lambasted still if he just came out and was honest to the people. I mean, sure, he'd still get made fun of for being an idiot in the first place, and some people would accuse him of being inauthentic with the apology. But so long as he followed through frequently enough, it would be fine. He just has to get ahead of it. But no, he didn't bother to get ahead of it because that would take accountability. And accountability is illegal. It's against the rules. If you are of any minority group whatsoever, you are barred from taking accountability. You literally cannot do it. It is against the rules. Hey all, this will be my last tweet on this platform for the month. I will no longer be using Twitter after this until another month comes. If you look at the replies to my latest announcement tweet, you'll see a lot of comments like this. This has been going on for years now, and while the normal procedure has been to block and move on, I truly don't think Twitter is worth it anymore. In the past, I've expressed that I think diversity in casting is important. It's a complicated topic, but at the end of the day, I still stand by this. I think it's important for all voice actors to be given an equal opportunity, and I think there have been positive changes on that front. A lot of bad faith arguers have tried to paint this as me saying things I've never said. I have been reluctant to address this for years because I know a lot of these people will not listen to reason no matter what I say, and I have not wanted to add to this ongoing drama. Twitter especially is a cesspool for hatred, and it's been awful these past few years, but I think it's important for people to know that this has been happening. This is the last time I'll comment on any of this. Goodbye Twitter, you truly suck ass. Twitter is significantly less of a cesspool of hatred than it was 4 years ago. Ever since Elon Musk bought it, it's become a cesspool of equality, where everybody can voice their hatred equally without fear of punishment. And that is exactly how it should be. You're just upset that it no longer agrees with you in full force because the average person does not agree with you. And notice how he tries to reframe the issue to make himself look virtuous and good. In the past, I've expressed that I think diversity in casting is important. That's not the same thing as saying casting should be authentic. Those are not the same thing. It's a complicated topic. Not really. Let's be very honest. You're just saying that to dodge bullets. But at the end of the day, I still stand by this. I think it's important for voice actors to be given an equal opportunity. That's how I worded it. You know what an equal opportunity is? Here's a couple of roles. Sit down. Do you sound like the person? That's what equal opportunity is. And now if I need a really white sounding guy and you come in here saying we was kings and shit, there's gonna be an issue. If I need a casting for an American and you're mixing up your L's and your R's, speaking in nothing more than Japanglish, then of course you're not gonna get the role because you don't fit it. You don't have the acumen to play the role. But similarly enough, if you're an Asian guy and you can perfectly get down some black speak and you sound perfect in your Ebonics, there's nothing wrong with you playing a black character. All that equal opportunity, what equal opportunity means is you have the opportunity to sit down and give it a good college try. You have the opportunity to sit down and show whether or not you're worthy of getting the role. You do not deserve the role just for being Asian. I'm sorry, but that's not how that works. You get equal opportunity is the ability to try. Not guaranteed, not given, no handout, no free roles, no promises that were given to you 5,000 years ago. You sit down, you give the opportunity to present yourself, and then you see whether or not you get the role. That is equal opportunity. Equal opportunity is not representative casting, because that is when you remove opportunity from people. What if I had a show that had no white people in it or no black people in it? Does that show have equal opportunity for black people? No, because there's none of them in there. But if the show doesn't have to be representatively cast and the show itself has no black people, I could have an all-black cast. I could have a cast of nothing but black people voicing Chinese characters if I don't care about representation, because then it actually allows for equal opportunity of all people to try out for all roles. And while this is pretty obvious to anybody with 2 brain cells floating around in their very empty heads, it's not obvious to these people because they don't actually care about diversity. They don't care about representation. He cares about getting more work for himself. He wants to tell Whitey to fuck out of here so I can have that role. He doesn't care about other Asians. He doesn't care about blacks. He doesn't care about anyone other than himself. All he cares is that he can have the role that other, more talented voice actors have taken. And it would look like Asmongold might actually agree with me. He never believed that shit to begin with. He just used it to bully companies into giving him roles to disadvantage his competition. Completely deserves all the hate, turned the industry toxic, and now the toxicity has turned on him. Now, to be fair, SungWon isn't the only person... This is a great name. He's not the only person to turn the voice acting community toxic, but he did help push people out like Vic Mignogna, who did nothing wrong, had no problems that they caused, and were disbarred, disbanded, kicked out for nothing more than disagreeing with him or just having the wrong aesthetic. Because Vic did get fired from being a voice actor and was falsely accused because he's white. That's the only reason. He was white, he was popular, and he was really damn good at his job, so they had to get rid of him. And as I said, in the past, he's complained about being typecast in Asian roles, but faced backlash for hypocrisy when he took white character role. Instead of retracting, he doubled down and played the victim. All he had to do was say, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake. My past activism has hurt so many, caused so much pain to..." And you know what you do? You don't say cause so much pain to white people, because then you would be a traitor. You'd be betraying the cause. You say it has caused so much pain to black people who have been denied equal opportunity. You don't turn it as to white people are being treated unfairly. No. You choose somebody else who is accidentally being treated unfairly, because just black people can't be authentically cast, because very few anime have black people, because the Japanese don't like them. So you spin it as those people who everybody agrees is oppressed, except for those with a brain. You say the oppressed people, the poor little babies over there, they are the ones struggling. So we gotta change our mind to be more open and helpful to our black brothers and sisters in solidarity. Now, unfortunately, he didn't kick a shit fit over on Blue Sky. I was really hopeful that we could catch him having an absolute tantrum in a place that actually agrees with him, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. But if you look through his Blue Sky, he's playing this character, I assume, who's not Asian. He's playing this character up here, who's definitely not Asian, and also not his body type. And of course, this is the character he's playing that caused all the ruckus. Now, like I said, if you're face blind, he looks the role. But if so long as you're actually acknowledging race, not quite. I figured we could take a look at Reddit, because Reddit worships voice actors. See if they can say anything to possibly help his case. Maybe convince me that I'm wrong. What's always irked me about this whole controversy was it came from a single question he answered on an interview with Double Toasted Podcast with less than 7,000 views. Yet people talk like he single-handedly passed a law that forbids people from voicing characters of a different race. That is not a point. That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter how many views the podcast has, because so many people have heard the clip, seen the clip, and we can see it has had irrefutable impact on the voice acting community, on how people are cast. It has had an objective effect. You cannot deny that. Here's a fun comment that I didn't even think to mention about. Most of the people going after him are like Phillip Chan. Asian people and non-white people targeting him because of the harm he's personally done to them as aspiring voice actors. It's clear the people harassing him were not white. I'm Asian, and it seems everyone always blames whites for everything. I initially sided with this guy, but I have to say some of his posts are toxic. Now, this one's funny. This is coming from the subreddit r/Asian American, where you have people complaining that Mr. Phillip Chan, the person mentioned just a minute ago, Project Eggroll, a great content creator and very Asian one, has basically been leading the charge against SungWon. Man, people like you make me think we should bring back Asian hate, and it's the comments all just coping and crying about the fact that it's one of their own that's throwing the stones, when in reality, it should be another Asian American calling this out. It should be an Asian calling this out, because what he has done is put a target on Asian people's backs as someone who pulls up the ladder behind them to ensure other voice actors and other people don't get the same opportunities that he had in the past. It is also worth mentioning, in the most hilarious fashion, that Mr. Phillip Chan's post was actually the one that SungWon Cho featured as the reason why he was quitting Twitter. So it was actually all because of Project Eggroll that SungWon, this racist grifter, quit Twitter. Congratulations to you, Mr. Phillip Chan. Excellent performance. I am just beyond glad to see these kinds of people getting their comeuppance. I'm beyond thrilled by the fact that they're getting the backlash that they thoroughly deserve for destroying these industries, for going out there and spreading racial, sexual, and gendered hatred against a certain group because they see them as privileged. It's a common issue throughout, where we insult people who want to play characters that aren't identical to them, where if we really follow this doctrine, there would be very few gay characters. There'd be no trans characters, but that wouldn't be a bad thing. You would have so little of this because of the force of authenticity. We wouldn't have some of the most important characters. We wouldn't have had Dumbledore. We wouldn't have Gandalf. These actors who were gay, who did amazing roles, would be denied the ability to do so. We wouldn't have Robin Williams in the Birdcage because he's not a flaming homo. I mean, tying it back to my own experience, because I'm a narcissist and that's what we do, this is the same issue that a lot of LGB people have had, where they've been bullied into not taking roles from straight people, and more importantly, been told they have to take gay roles. You can only take gay roles according to other LGB activists, the queerdos who ruin it for everyone else. People have been shamed for taking straight roles, and more importantly, they've been trying to force more gay roles than there are gay voice actors, meaning that there are roles that are being badly performed, badly written, and ultimately just putting a massive target on the LGB's back. Because that's what happens when you demand authenticity, is you're now going to draw people who are inauthentic out of the woodworks. And we're all tired of this grifting, we're all tired of these lies, and we're all tired of legitimate racism. What SungWon said was legitimately racist. And of course, because it's the right kind of racism, it's safe racism, nobody bothered to care. But at the end of the day, the people who actually do matter, the average Joe, the working man, he did care, and he did remember. Because the axe forgets, but the tree does remember. But that's pretty much what I've got. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this, and I will see you guys on the next one.